Hello my guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another video. So this video has taken quite a while to make. I started working on it in August, on August 6th. So it's been like 2 months. Pretty much over summer, I organized all of my traditional art because I got some storage units. And I was like, oh, so it'll be really easy to find my traditional art. I should make like a redrawing old childhood art video, but this time go even earlier since it'll be my older art before the digital stuff. But then I found a lot of my old comics. And then I found my old FNAF comic I made. And oh boy, it is hilarious. I'll read it for you in a second. It's so good. This video is going to have to be in 2 different parts because it took so long to draw all these, and I don't know, there's so much to talk about that putting it in just one video would not be right. So this is going to be 2 parts. Also, so far 100% my viewers are subscribed. So if you aren't subscribed, what are you doing? Don't be that one person who isn't subscribed. And on with the video. It's the Pirate's Turn, Part 1, Stubborn Fox by FNAF Comic Co. Come on, Freddy, on Pirate Day. Do I have to? Yes. Come on, Bonnie. Hi. Later. Right. Yes, Captain. Where's Freddy? Who cares? Help. Freddy's POV. Bye, boss. Let me go. Nope. Oh, thanks, Joe. Next time, let me sleep, though. We've got changes to be continued. It's the Pirate's Turn, Part 2. Should I care? FNAF Comic Co. Foxy, he's nowhere. Freddy plus X equals Foxy equals star. Foxy, look, I am bored. I'm leaving. So he's just left. But this is his real handwriting. I hurt you, Marionette. Please don't leave me. He's been kidnapped. Kidnapped? Yes. Purple Man. Ah! What's wrong? Freddy's POV. Let's cut to the chase. We know you and Foxy are having troubles. Yeah, to be continued. It's the Pirate's Turn Part 3, The 3 Girls, FNAF Comic Co. What happened? Purple Man took Freddy. What? No! First I have bad hair, now this? Purple Man? He will pay. Do you really like Marionette? Maybe. Freddy's POV. Well, if he's calling you. Really? Later. Freddy? Yeah? Freddy, you're alive! What? You're not even hurt? So we're gonna save you, okay? Bye. He's okay. Later. Here we are. Purple Man Co. Let's go. Freddy's POV. Hurry up. It's the Pirate's Turn, Part 4. Too late. Guys, Purple Man. Hi. You came too late. Power. Permanent death. I'll give mercy to the rest of you if I keep Marionette. I don't know what that small text says. You. You're gonna have a bad time. To be finished soon. It's the Pirate's Turn, Part 5. He's deaded. I was a girl. The end. So I hope you like my wonderful voice acting. But that was a comic. I hope you see what I mean when I say it's absolutely wild. I'll probably talk more in depth about each of the old comics when they come up if I have anything to say, but for now, there you go. There's your overview of the comic. First, what I wanted to do was design all the characters so that I could make them more consistent, and also because it's been a while, I don't have acceptable FNAF character designs memorized, so I had to design all of them first. So there's 6 characters, obviously. There's Foxy, Freddy, Bonnie, Chica, Mangle, and Marionette, and wait, that's 7 characters. I can't count. Well, and Purple Guy. I also wanted it to be simpler than my normal style. Not as simple as I had it in the comic, but I did simplify my style quite a bit with mainly the eyes. Just made everything a bit simpler because, I'm going to be drawing these characters a lot and I'm going to have a lot of drawing to do. So I wanted to make this as quick as I could. And then I put them all in some kind of pirate getup like I did in the original. Tried to vary it a bit, like There's mainly eye patches, but there's some peg legs thrown in there, some hats, some hooks. So Foxy's design is pretty much normal. I don't have to change anything. He looks pretty similar to the comic, except I didn't make him all withered because that's too much detail for me. Then Freddy, I did forget to draw his bow tie, but he's pretty similar too. He just has a hook on now and an eye patch. Then Bonnie has a bandana and a peg leg, and besides that, he's also pretty similar. Marionette, I drew her kind of interesting in the original because I don't think I remember her design that well, but gave her an eye patch and actually looked up references to make her design better. I looked up references for them all. Some of them I didn't really need to, like Freddy and Bonnie, but I did it for them all anyway just so I didn't forget anything. And then I still forget Freddy's bow tie. And then Chica, I gave a pirate hat, an eye patch, and you can't see it in the sketches, but during the inking I think I gave her a little themed bib. Can't remember if I did it in the original or not, but I made the bib say Yar. And then for Mangle, I just gave her an eye patch. I also didn't know quite how to make a simplified form of the endoskeleton, so I just did something similar to the original, just with more of the shapes that Mangle actually has. Mangle kind of is missing a lot to her design more than anyone else, just because it's really complicated. There's a lot going on. It is an endoskeleton, and also a janky endoskeleton at that, so I just settled for a more interesting shape with some lines going through it. And then finally, purple guy, he's just some basic looking dude in a security outfit. Not really much to say there. And then for the coloring of all of them, for the characters, I decided to limit it to just 3 colors to keep it simple. I did want to make the whole comic black and white like the original, which I don't really do. I don't do black and white art that much. Originally, when thinking of this project, I was like, oh yeah, I can do so much hatching and, all this fancy black and white stuff to have different tones and things. But then I just decided that I don't have that much time. I have to make 6 pages in 2 weeks. I'm just gonna not do that. And for the characters, keep it to white, pure black, which I never use, so this is new. I also used a perfect gray that was in between those two, and that was all the colors. Though eventually for the white, I really hate using pure white as well, and I want to use that for these speech bubbles, so in the actual comic the pure white is an off-white instead. So then we get into the actual comic. So formatting this was really hard, but pretty much on the left we have the old comic and on the right we have the new thing. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be one of my uglier looking videos though. Originally I was trying to figure out the formatting and I was like, okay, maybe I can make the comic horizontal, maybe, but then I didn't like that, so I just stuck with the vertical thing, but you can see me struggling with that at the start. Now, I've never made a comic. Okay, that's not entirely true. I've never made a comic where I had a lot of time to work on it, and I actually tried to make it look that good. And I do want to make a comic someday, so this is great practice. But I did go on YouTube and look up a lot of tutorials, mainly by Lavender Town, because I had distinct memories of her having a lot of good do's and don'ts of comics and giving a lot of good comic advice. She's actually how I figured out to do this formatting in the first place, so thank you to Lavender Town. Go check out her videos on comics if you're interested in making comics, because they're definitely very good ones. They helped me a lot. So the first thing I wanted to do was highlight all the problems I had with my original comic. So for this page in particular, I want the frames to be straighter. I want there to be more focus on the kidnapping happening because it gets lost. I want the dialogue to be more realistic and make more sense, because why is Bonnie saying like hi after come on Bonnie, stuff like that. Then I also just want to have like more effort and more consistent drawings, and just to have that be better overall. Then also I want these speech bubbles. This one isn't too bad except for the last frame, but they're all over the place. It's really hard to figure out what order you're supposed to read it in. Typically you go left to right, and a lot of this comic is left to right. Then on like the last panel it's right to left, and it's all over the place. But overall for this redraw, I can't really change the story. I want to keep that fairly similar, and the progression I want to be pretty similar, same like general plot points. I just want to fix up some stuff here and there. Still going to be incredibly nonsensical and wild, and somehow it's going to come to Earthbound and Undertale, because of course it did. Like, this was made in 5th grade. Of course I had to combine all my current interests into one comic. So the first thing I want to start off with was getting the basic framing done and figure out what's going to be in each frame. I have like a similar kind of progression, like I said. It's just like introducing it's National Pirate Day. Sorry, this time I changed it to National Pirate Day because I don't know what Pirate Day was supposed to be. I just figured it's that. So it's introducing what's happening. Freddy's like, oh, I don't want to do this. Foxy's like, yep. Come on, Bonnie, you're also doing this. And then I made Bonnie say, aye, Captain. That makes more sense than hi. Why did he say hi? Still can't get over that. Then, since I don't even know if Pirates Cove had a boat in it, but apparently it does in this, but either way I don't think the boat would be able to move, so I don't know why Foxy was telling Bonnie to go right. So instead I just had them looking out on the ship, and then Bonnie realizes Freddy's missing. Also in the windows I had you see Purple Guy and Freddy, because Purple Guy's doing the kidnapping now. I don't know, I thought that made more sense than introducing some random 8th character who named Joe, who was there for 5 seconds. Like, who even is Joe? So some of the problems I ran into off the bat was drawing Foxy from the side. I had the same problem when actually designing his character, but the Fox characters are the only ones I actually drew, like a snout, muzzle, whatever you call it for. The rest have fairly 2D faces, and I didn't really know how to go about it, honestly. So I tried drawing him from the side. I didn't like how it looked, so I just made Foxy from a head-on view for the rest of the comic. Plus that meant less drawing for me. I also did a lot of copy-pasting of stuff. This is something that happens a lot in comics just normally, but normally I don't like to copy-paste stuff. But like I said, anything that saves time when making a comic is not good, but it's recommended. Go for it. Save time. It's important because you have so much drawing to do, and typically you don't have a lot of time to do it, especially in this case. So yeah, you'll see a lot of similar looking panels and angles and stuff. And then for this, I didn't want to have a whole entire page just with Freddy getting kidnapped, and a lot of that dialogue in Freddy's kidnapping was useless, so I just put Freddy being kidnapped at the very bottom. I really like how this one is framed. That's one of my favorite things about it. It has a black and white gradient to add like drama to the part showing Freddy being kidnapped and tied up, and I really like that part about this. A lot of the framing in future pages gets kind of boring, but this one was nice. Though there was a lot of pressure with this first page because this was going to set like the precedent for the rest of the comic. This was going to have the style. This was what I was going to replicate in every single one. So I wanted to make sure that this had a very good starting point, and a lot of like how I drew backgrounds in this, how I did the speech bubbles, how I did all the framing and stuff. I wanted all that to be beautiful in this one, because this was going to be what I was going to replicate for all the other ones. Then for the speech bubbles, originally I did like just lines, which was kind of confusing a lot of the time because they looked like letters sometimes. But this time I just did like kind of a white scribble behind the text and then a line. I didn't want to do normal speech bubbles because then I'd have to figure out how the heck I would standardize drawing them. Okay, there is an oval tool. I think I kind of forgot about that. But either way, it was just easier to do it in a more freeing way, and I kind of like it that way. So that's comic 1. I really like how it turned out. The drawings are good, framing's good, it's nice. Then we move on to comic 2. So immediately I cut out the scene with Purple Man being like, "We'll cut to the chase. We know you're having problems with Freddy," or with Foxy. Because that scene was just useless. There's no reason for it to be there. It never came up again. Like, the problems between Freddy and Foxy don't even come up that much in this. Like, it's built up really in the beginning and then it just goes nowhere. So, besides that, there was a few more things I wanted to change. I didn't actually write it down, but I wanted Foxy's thoughts to be more clear. I don't know why I use pictures to represent them, but I want to write that out this time. I want Chica's, like, what Chica's saying to be more clear. I don't know if Chica was supposed to say what's wrong and then they scream because Chica came out of nowhere, or they're screaming because they realized Freddy was kidnapped by Purple Man. But I want to fix that and make Chica coming up make more sense. That was pretty much the biggest problems I had with this, and also just making the flow of the story make more sense in this page. So I didn't do a big sketch first. I just kind of immediately went into it because I knew what I was going to do pretty quickly. I knew it was going to be fairly similar to the original with just some fixing up here and there. And the whole thing was pretty easy. A lot of copy and pasting, only a few where I had to actually draw the characters, especially when Chica comes up. I did have trouble drawing Bonnie in the last frame, or last panel. I'm getting all my vocabulary mixed up, man. But I don't know what the problem was, but something about how he was standing, and also the fact that animatronics have no clothes. It made it all the more difficult to figure out how to draw his body. So yeah, he doesn't look that good, but I redrew him a couple times, and this was the best I had. I don't have time to be finicky and perfectionist with this comic. I have to move on. I don't have time. I do think the framing for this page was probably the most boring one. I had to fit in 8 panels, so it was really hard to figure out a way to be interesting with it. So they're just there. Could have figured out a way to make it nicer, but oh well. I really like Chica in this page. I like how she just suddenly appears and she has the one glowing eye, and it's really intense when she says Purple Man. And also I just like how she suddenly appears, and I don't know, I like the tiny bit of maybe funny. I don't know if it's funny. It's funny to me how Bonnie's just wait, where'd you even come from? But I like this one. I like a lot of the drawings. There are some problems, obviously, but it's nice. Definitely one of my favorites. So that is going to be all for part 1. If you want to make sure you don't miss part 2, make sure to subscribe or just come back next week. That's when it's going to be coming out. This took a long time. I made 5 comic pages in the span of 2 weeks. Like I said, that's a lot of work. So please like this video. Also, if you have any old cringy comics or stuff you made in the past, tell me about them in the comments below. I'd love to know that I'm not the only one writing a story about Foxy hating Freddy and then Marionette's also sans. Also, all my social media are in the description below. There is some more content outside of YouTube sometime, and I'm trying to improve on posting on them, so go follow those, and I will see you all next